Hey there everybody, it's Ed here from Bunch of Swines, and yes, I am back. We've been away for the last few weeks, having a bit of time away, bit of vacation and so on. We are back in the barn. It doesn't, again, look like much has gone on, but I assure you we have been doing work in here. We are getting close to starting to get everything in here. You can see today I have actually dragged in one of my big smokers in here. So I've dragged in my Jambo Pits Offset Smoker. So this is one that we imported from America, and we're going to be cooking these fantastic beef short ribs on the Jambo today. So these ones are chef's exclusive brand. They're American USDA, but we're going to get these out. I can already see through the packaging. The marbling on these things is insane. I'm really looking forward to cooking these on the stick burner and seeing how they come out. So I'm going to get these out the packet. We're going to start trimming these up, and we're going to look at how we're going to cook these on an offset smoker, and basically see how well we can get them to turn out. So just cutting through the cryovac to get these out. I mean, these beef ribs themselves, they are absolutely massive. With a lot of places where I'll buy them normally, they'll be like half this size. So these are going to make some real good eating, and they're going to give us some good leftovers to use. So as always with the beef ribs, what I want to do is just get rid of this silver skin and sinew that I've got laid over the top here. Basically, it's just not going to be very nice. So I'm just going to run my knife underneath it, just like that. And just expose that. And basically expose the marbling and the meat underneath. Again, I know that there'll be people going, "Oh, you need to leave the fat on it. It's going to render in." Meh, 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 meh. I don't buy into it. These things have got so much marbling going through the meat. The quality of the meat is what I'm really interested in. These are not going to dry out. And if anything, I need to try and render out as much of this as possible. So again, I'm just shaving closely to the meat, just trying to get this off in one big piece. There we go. And again, so nearly there, just got this little corner. Then just got a couple of little bits that I've missed and I've cut down, so I'll just trim them off. When you actually look at this sinew itself, it's really tough. I can't really pull it apart. If it was fat, I'd be able to pull it apart, but this isn't. This is, sinew. It's really stringy. It's not going to be nice to eat. So I'm just going to get rid of it. But that's it. That's our first rack of beef ribs done. I am going to cook two today. I figured, seeing as I'm going to be feeding this thing logs every half an hour, I might as well load it up, and I can always use beef rib, the meat from the beef ribs for other things throughout the week. So I'll be fine with that. So there we go. Again, monster. And again, I'm just going to wedge my knife underneath. Just try and take it in a big vein. I mean, wow, the marbling that I'm seeing underneath here is ridiculous. I mean, these beef ribs, they're just USDA. They don't really class them. They don't grade the beef ribs on these, whether they don't sort them between prime or anything like that. But I mean, these are most definitely prime quality. Yeah, it's the type of marbling I would expect to see in Wagyu, to be honest. Or yeah, I'd love to actually cook some good Wagyu beef ribs at some point, just to see what the difference is in the marbling compared to what I've got here. So there are some bits of fat that I've got here. There's no silver skin underneath these parts, so I will leave that on. That'll go quite nice and sweet there. Same here, I've got a little bit of fat here, which again, I'm not too worried about. I quite like that bit, so I'm gonna leave that here. I'm just gonna bring one of these close up so you can actually see, what I'm on about with the amount of marbling that we've got in these. So, there's no chance these things are going to dry out. We're just going to get these, get these to render down and cook out. So, but that is all that I do on the trim on the beef ribs. So I know some people go, oh, what about the silver skin on the back? The membrane. I always want to keep that on beef ribs. The reason for that is that the basically that skin, that membrane is going to help actually keep the bones together without these blowing out all over the place. If I did trim them out, they go all over the place. So yeah, just gonna get rid of this. Okay, and now that I've got my beef ribs, so I decided, when I was out shopping at the weekend, well, the other day, I was going to try some different rubs that have just come in. So I've got this one from Clark Crew Barbecue. They're jacked up brisket rub. For those of you that don't know, like Travis and his family, I think they've been KCBS Team of the Year twice. Travis is a really great brisket cook, and to be fair, he's a great cook all round, and he's got his restaurant going now, so we don't see him much on the competition circuit or as much as we used to, but yeah, I figured let's give this a try. I've already opened it and had a sniff and a taste of it at home, and it smells really, really good, so I figured I would use that one just on its own on one of those racks of beef ribs. The other one I wanted to try is this Two Gringos Chupacabra brisket rub. Brisket magic, they call it. So, smelling it, it smells really good. I mean, it would be fine on a brisket on its own, but I really want to amp up the flavor, and I think the best way that I can use this is to kind of use it as a layering rub. So I'll use a different rub as well. So I'm going to use trusty, good old faithful Smoking Guns Hot. If you haven't tried Smoking Guns Hot, you really should. It's definitely one of my favorites. And to be fair, I think Smoking Guns Hot is, I think you can safely say no other rub has been a key part of as many world championships as this rub. It really is a great rub, and lots of people use it. So what we're going to do though, what we're going to do now is just take this first rack. Funny enough, the bigger rack. I'm just going to use this Clark Crew rub, and all I'm going to do is, I'm not going to go too heavy on the rub. I kind of don't want to over season it, but I do want to get some good taste. So I'm just going to go across it quite lightly in this direction, just like that. Okay, that's one coat. And basically I'm just going to do 3 coats, or maybe 4. I think 4 coats, because they're quite big. But I'll just do it in different directions each time. So basically layering it up and letting the granules sort of interlock with each other. So it will look like it's got a nice even coating, but I won't actually have too much rub on there, so it won't be too salty or anything like that. So and then with this one, I'm just going to go same again, good old faithful Smoking Guns Hot, straight over the middle on one coat. I'm then going to go a bit more Smoking Guns that way. I'm probably going to give it a third hit with Smoking Guns lightly. And then, you know, I'm just going to use the Chupacabra Brisket Magic Rub. Ooh, that comes out pretty quickly. So just going to do 2 rubs like that. And that's it. So I'm not going to pat these down. I'm not going to rub them with my hands or anything like that. I'm just going to let, you know, time and, you know, the salts and the sugars and everything else do their own work. So these are going to sit for, well, until we get the Jambo hot. You know, I'm ready to put on. So I'm just going to leave these here. I don't need to put them in the fridge. I mean, if I was cooking these at home, you know, I might think of rubbing them, you know, maybe like a few hours beforehand, you know, 4 or 5 hours. But, you know, I mean, as long as they get a minimum of an hour, they'll be fine. So I'm going to leave these here. We're going to go and sort out the Jambo, get that up to temperature, and then we'll come back when we're ready to put these on. So now it's time for us to light the Jambo. We've already got a chimney foot starter full of these Big K cocoa shell briquettes. The idea being that these are basically going to create a bed, you know, a hot bed of embers, you know, to basically let us get our fire started. You know, as soon as we put these in, we're going to rearrange them so I've got a nice area, and then I'll start adding splits of hickory wood, and then throughout the remainder of the cook, it's going to be fully on the hickory. So we're just going to get this open, and luckily I have cleaned it since the last time I used it. And then, yeah, I'm going to take this chimney starter, try and get it in the, just get it in. And then dump the coals in like that. Let's see, a little runaway. And then I just want to rearrange, you know, just use this shovel to kind of like scrape them all together in the center. So then I've got a nice bed for my logs to burn on. I always cook straight in the middle. I'm not one to cook on one side of the pit. So now I've got my charcoal in like that. You know, now I've got my charcoal in like that, I'm just going to give it a minute or two just to start burning up, because, you know, especially cooking inside the barn, you know, I need to make sure that I'm going to be running really clean fire today. One of the little tips that I've got is I have actually got the smokestack fully closed at the moment, so in a sense you'd think that's going to be choking it. But what I found is, you know, by doing that, you know, once I then open the smokestack, it will give me a much better pull straight away through the smoker, and in a sense I will have a much cleaner fire much quicker. So I'm going to start getting a couple of splits on now. Okay, so yeah, and when I'm putting them on, I'm just going to put them on, you know, sort of like if you're using kindling. You know, I try to use quite small pieces of wood. So that'll go in there. Yeah, and where I'm just trying to get all of this steel hot, yeah, I'm going to load this up. Okay, so you can see I put it in at a different angle, and then again I'm just going to do the same again on top. So yeah, as it stands at the moment, yeah, I've got 6 splits in there, which is a lot. Yeah, it is a lot of wood that I've got in there right now, but the idea is that this is all going to start burning, get all of this steel hot really quickly. You know, I'm going to be looking for a temperature around 300 degrees Fahrenheit. So yeah, now I can see that this is kind of backing out, and in a sense the smoke is coming out of the firebox. You know, I just want to make sure that it's catching. I'm now going to open the smokestack fully. Okay, so I'm just going to open the smokestack fully, and then you can see I've got the smoke coming out of there straight away. I'm just going to close this door up, and you know, it's just now a waiting game. We're just waiting for it to get up to temperature now. And we'll keep feeding this with logs probably every half an hour to make sure that we keep a clean fire, but also maintain our heat throughout. Okay, our Jambo, you can see now the Jambo, we have overshot quite a lot. We're currently sitting at about 400 degrees Fahrenheit. We stuck a lot of wood in there to get this thing hot really quickly. But, you can see here, we haven't really got any smoke coming out of the smokestack. That's exactly how I want it. I don't want this, people talk about thin blue smoke and all that. I want a completely clean fire. Burning on this stick burner. So, and also, 400 degrees, it's a bit hot at the moment, but, actually if you, look at a lot of the top Jambo cooks out there, a lot of them are starting their Jambos at about 400, 500 degrees before they're sticking their meats in. It kind of shocks them and helps like plump them up a bit. So I'm happy to stick the meat on at this temperature. This is going to help sort of, bulk up the meat, help it swell, and sort of get that bark sort of started a bit early. So I'm going to cook on this side furthest away from the fire to begin with. I'm just going to put this one straight in. Okay, just like that. And this one as well, next to it, like that. Okay, so basically I've got it that the bottom bones are sitting closest to the fire where I want that retraction in the bone to come from. So that's going to get exposed to a bit more heat. I'm going to be looking at this throughout the cook. So if I see any areas getting a bit darker because I have got some sharp edges, I'll just spritz them a bit with a bit of water just to stop them catching. I might move the meat, I might turn it around a bit just to get even colouring, but that's all just part and parcel of it. So I've got this running now. Funny enough, I've put, I don't know how many kilos of cold meat in there, but it's already dropped straight down to 350. I know that once I start putting the my regular rate of logs in, I'm going to dial that temperature back into the 300 Fahrenheit range, and then that's going to be good for the rest of the cook. So we're just going to leave that going. Getting that up to temperature probably only took about 10 minutes from us sticking all that wood on there. That little trick of keeping the exhaust closed just to back it up, back the pressure up and then opening it really helps bring that through. You can see, we're cooking indoors. We've got the barn doors open, but we're still cooking indoors, and we're not, I haven't got any headaches or, and you can actually see us. So, we've got a nice clean fire burning, everything's running nicely. It's just going to be, keep feeding it, and probably in a couple of hours, 2, maybe 3 hours, we'll probably be ready to wrap them. So we'll keep coming back throughout the cook, and and just see how it's going then. So the beef ribs have been on now for about 3 hours. They're looking really, really good. We're going to get these wrapped up in foil so we can get them tenderized now. I could leave them to cook the whole way through, but I do like to wrap things. It just helps keep some of that moisture in there. When we're wrapping these beef ribs, we're actually going to use this product here. So we use a 2 Gringos Chupacabra Marigate. Kind of like they sell it as a brisket marinade or a beef marinade, but I like to use it as a foil wrap. So I just basically take some of this. I am going to dilute it, so I'm going to pour. I've probably got about half a bottle that I've poured into this, and basically I'm just going to mix it with like half, basically 50-50. So half of the Chupacabra marinade, and then I'm just going to top it up with some beer. Normally I'd do this with like a dark beer, but I don't normally drink that stuff. So a bottle of Corona will do. Just want to mix it up. Have a bit for myself. And I'm just going to mix that round. Okay, so that'll be ready. And there we go. So That smells good. You know, and that Marigate, you know, it's got lots of different ingredients in there. So it's got a bit of like Worcestershire sauce. It's got a bit of beef flavouring, vinegar, you know, all different things. I do make something very similar for myself, but you know, sometimes you just want to cut, you know, you just want to cheat. So you know, it's a really good product. I like it a lot. So I've just got my bits of tin foil already laid out. And we're just going to get ready to wrap these beef ribs. So all I'm going to do, you know, I've already got the sides turned up. I've got 2 sheets of foil here, and I'm just going to take these straight off of the cooker. I'm going to lay these meat side down, you know, so I actually want them to braise into it. And then I'm going to close it up. I'm going to put a bit of the Marigate in there, the marinade, and then I'm going to put a couple of sheets on top and roll it tight. So we're just going to get the first rack off. Wow. Okay, so you know, you can see here we've got a you know, nice bark forming up now. You know, it's got a little crispy. I didn't really spritz these at all when I was cooking them. I actually ended up just moving them around the cooker just to make sure I got an even doneness around it. So I'm just going to pour, you know, a nice bit over the top, probably about half of this mixture. You know, just make sure I've got enough in there. What I'm also going to do, these bones can be really sharp. So I'm just going to put a little barrier of foil over the top, you know, basically to stop them from piercing the foil when I'm closing it up. And again, so I just take these two bits of foil. You know, this is heavy duty foil, so you know, just keep it tight. I'm just going to loosely close it on that end. Same again there. I'm just going to work them together so it's nice and tight. Okay, and then I'm just going to close it up on this end like that. You know, nice and tied up against those bones. This end where I've got the bones uncovered, I'm going to be a bit gentler, but I still want to make sure I've got a nice close on the foil. So, you know, make sure that everything is, you know, make sure it's all nicely wrapped. You know, I don't want too much air trapped in there. So that one is done. I'm just going to do the same again on the second one. Wow. You know, same again on the second one. So again, I'm just going to lay this down, you know, meat side down. Just going to pour this all over, just like that. Again, you know, I'm going to put this over these bones here to stop it from tearing my foil. And then put this back on top. Yeah. So just like that, get it nice and tight up against the sides because it's a bit softer there. Then I can work on closing these end bits. And then I'll just close the end here, just like that. So, and there we go. So that is our beef ribs wrapped back up. I'm literally just going to put these straight back onto the cooker, you know, where they were before. Just like that. And then that's it, done. So, you know, those are ready, you know, those are wrapped up nicely. They're going to carry on cooking. I'm probably going to leave them now for another 2 hours. And then, you know, that 2 hour stage, I'll start checking them, see how they're doing doneness wise. You know, I'm not really looking for a set target temperature. you know, I'm looking more for the feel on them. So, you know, we'll leave them there cooking, and we'll come back to them in a bit. Okay, our beef ribs have been cooking now for about another 2 hours since we wrapped them in foil. So I think they're going to be done. So we're going to get them out and have a quick look. So, yeah, I've already been temping these just to sort of see where we were, just, you know, keep a track on them. So we're currently sitting around about 210 degrees Fahrenheit in that kind of region. You know, cooking hot and fast, that's kind of where I would expect the beef ribs to be. So I just want to get the foil open and actually feel with my hands how tender they are. You know, probing the beef ribs with a thermopen is a good indicator, but you know, they don't have a very tight muscle structure, so you know, they can feel a bit loose anyway. So I just want to have a look at them and see what they're like. So just having a look here. I mean, the bones have all blown out, so that's a good sign. And just, oh yeah, these are done. Oh, try and get these out and onto the cutting board. There we go. Those are done. I mean, you know, you can just sort of see the jiggle within these beef ribs at the minute. So they look really good. I'm just going to leave those there. I'm not going to worry, you know, I'm going to be cutting into these in a few minutes anyway, so I'm not going to worry about keeping them in the foil. You know, leaving them out is just going to let that bark harden up a bit more as well. So, oh. You know, and we can also have a look at the other rack of ribs we've got here. So, yeah, we're really liking the looks of those ones. I'm hoping these are going to be exactly the same, or hopefully even a little bit better. So again, you know, I can see that the bones have all blown out. These are going to be fun to try and get them onto the cutting board. Oh yeah, yeah, I can feel the tenderness on them. So there we go, just flip them straight over, and there we go. That's our beef. You know, I can see, just, you know, prodding it with my fingers, you know, those are super tender. I mean, I'm just having a quick look at them, just seeing how the bark's set up. Obviously we used a couple of different rubs on these, so I think it was this one that we used the Clark Crew one on, and this one that we used the Smoking Guns Hot and Chupacabra mix. I think, but I can double check that in a bit. So as we've got that one done here, you know, it's I'm just gonna, you know, this has only had a couple of seconds to cool, but I might as well just get straight into it, and we can see how this beef rib is looking. Oh, see here, it is. Wow. I mean, that is like ridiculously tender. Got a lovely smoke ring going through it. Also that fat, you know, that marbling that we had inside this is all rendered out nicely. I mean, I know this is going to be stupidly hot, but I am going to just try and you know, have a little taste off the edge of this. So, well, burning my lip on it a bit. Wow. I'm just trying to find a bit that I can just snag off a little. Oh. That's lovely. That's got a real deep flavour. I mean, you can just see all of that juice in it, you know, how juicy it is. You know, if I put my thumb in it, it's really soft. So, wow, those are really hot. So I'm just going to leave them here. We're going to carve them up. We're going to serve them later on. You know, let these rest a bit and firm up. But beef ribs are done. So, yeah, all in all, we've taken about 5 hours to cook our beef ribs today. But, you know, we've got something that's super tender. We've got a lovely smoke ring on them, you know, cooked on our Jambo pits today. So, I hope you've enjoyed the video. You know, again, you know, if you've got any questions or comments, you know, leave them in the comment section below. And yeah, hopefully
you've enjoyed this, and if you want to hit the like and subscribe button, and we'll see you again on another video.